Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and I hope you're doing very well. And you are all geared up for the week. You are all excited for whatever this week is going to offer to us. And you're all fresh on the Monday morning, right? For those who don't know me, my name is Prachi Garg and I am taking your course, Business Correspondence and Reporting. And we are doing chapter 2 right now, sentences types, active, passive and direct speech, right? So till the last class, I was already done everything about the sentence types and what are the components, what is the structure, what is the function of a sentence. I am already done and I've already completed that. And we also started with active, passive, right? We are supposed to finish that today and active, passive topic will be followed by direct and indirect speech, right? Are we clear? Are you all with me here? Right. Before I start with active passive, I want to do some revision of topics that we have already done in past. I know many of you were waiting for the worksheet to come, but I am one teacher who hates homework. I don't know why I said that I will be giving you worksheets, but I hate homeworks. So I thought that why not do the revision in the class itself, because if there is any doubt, I can clear it right away. And there were many of your students who had problems with it, ma'am, how will we send you the answers? So I thought, why not have it in our live session? I will be giving you some examples, or maybe I will be picking a few sentences from the topics that we have already done. We quickly brush up with whatever we have done so far, and then we will quickly move on. Right? My aim here is that when you, after 1 o'clock, when this class is over, you are clear with all the concepts. You don't have to go back and, look after what does this concept mean? What happens in this concept? No. Yes, you need to practice. Yes. The practice will make you perfect. It is language, right? So the more you practice, the more you will learn. Every day there is going to be something new that you will be learning, maybe in terms of vocabulary, maybe in terms of, okay, maybe I could have said this sentence in this way, right? So there is a learning process that happens every day. Like I told you in my first class, that language is evolving, right? It is a constant process. We develop and we evolve with the language, right? So language is not a one-day job that, some theories and some concepts were given and we are just going on and on and on with it. No, right? Every day there is a new change. Every day we learn something new about it. So it's a constant process. Right. So, again, before I move on, this, that you were supposed to have your notes handy. ICAI material handy with you. You need to be downloaded with your PPT. Again, there were many students who were asking, ma'am, where can we find the PPT? I've been told that there is some link in students link where you can just go and you can download the PPTs for all the subjects. Alright, so just figure out that. It's available on the website itself. Please go and log in and download the PPTs. PPTs will just help you because I have just given all the concepts in brief and with better in a very brief explanation, in a very concise manner, I would say, right? But for details, please refer to your ICAI material. It is very well done. Your examples, there are many examples, sufficient examples given. There's sufficient exercises given for practice. And I think your course material will be followed by, in the coming months, we will be also giving you some model test papers and revision test papers to practice. That practice should be more than enough to prepare you for your exams. Alright, there was one more question about the topics that are important from this chapter. I agreed. And I think you've already gone through all the model test papers. You've already gone through your previous year's question papers. So mostly from this chapter, we ask active, passive voice and a direct, indirect speech. Mostly, right? I'm not saying that, okay, this is going to happen this year also, but mostly this is the pattern, right? But you need to do all the topics that is mentioned in this course material because every topic will add on to your understanding of active, passive voice and indirect speech, right? You cannot understand these two topics if you do not know what object is, what direct object is, what indirect object is, what are verbs. So, it's very difficult to manage the terminologies and their meanings and everything. Right? So you need to do all the topics. Please practice. Also, this is not about 40 marks papers. This is about building language, right? This is about learning the language. So you should know everything. You should know all the basics. You should know all the basic concepts. Right. And before I forget, very important point, your feedback is very important. So at the end of the class, please give your feedback. That feedback is very important for me. And, it also helps us where we need to improve, or maybe it's kind of an appreciation that, okay, children are enjoying the class. If you want to appreciate or you want to say something to me, please fill in the feedback form, right? Okay, let's start. I'll be just taking 5 minutes for the revision class, so you have to be with me. Get up quickly. Look at the sentence on the board. It says, my friend teaches my little sister math. Right? Clear? Everybody can read this sentence? Right. You have Guys, I'm waiting for your answers. Can you be little quick? Direct object and indirect object in this sentence. I'm going to count till 10 for your responses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Ritika, we are not changing this sentence, dear. I'm asking you to identify direct object and indirect object in this sentence. But very well done. This is a passive voice that you have written. Very good. So, which means that you're totally on it and you're totally ready to learn active, passive, and details. All right. So I have many responses. There's so many of you are with me. Very, very good. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for showing interest. How is teach in indirect? Isn't teach is a verb? Come on. Come on. Okay. So direct object and indirect object. Most of you have got it right. What does my friend teach? Math. The math becomes direct object. Whom does he teach? He or she teach? My little sister. So my little sister becomes an indirect object. Please remember, in a sentence, the answer to your what is the direct object. The answer to your who is the indirect object. So ask the question based on the verb here. Alright, quickly, I am on your screens, I am sharing you 2 slides, okay, and in one slide you have to identify the types of sentences based on function, and another slide you have to identify types of sentences based on structure. I hope you remember. Types of sentences based on function are declarative sentence, imperative sentence, exclamatory sentence, and interrogative sentence. Right? Based on structure, we have simple sentence, complex sentence, complex compound sentence, and complex compound sentence. Okay, quickly onto your screens. I will only give you 2 minutes for this. 2 minutes for one slide and 2 minutes for another slide. So when you are answering to me, again, you can write the initials. So for declarative, you can write DS. For your imperative, you can write IM. For interrogative, you can write IN. And for exclamatory, you can write EX. Quick, there's just 5 sentences. This shouldn't take you more than 2 minutes. Okay, guys, so I cannot see the query box right now. I will just tell you the answers and I will look at your answers also later. In case you have got all correct, write all 5 correct. If you got all 4 correct, write 4 correct, 3 correct, 2 correct, 1 correct. Right? So that I know from where you are standing. Okay, the first sentence. The developer needs new resources for completing a project. This statement is giving us information. Yes. So this is a declarative sentence. What is it? Declarative sentence. That movie was exciting. Somebody expressing their joy or maybe their excitement to see that movie, a good movie. So this is an exclamatory sentence. Also, it is ending with an exclamatory mark. Right? Now, next sentence. Do not stop. Okay? This is an imperative sentence. I hope you remember this. This is somebody is giving command to someone, but in a very exaggerated manner, right? Somebody is maybe angry, somebody is scared, something is there, and the tone or maybe the way of saying is quite aggressive. So, do not stop is an imperative sentence. What time will you finish writing your English homework? This is easy. Interrogative sentence. I am sure if you guys were not able to answer other sentences, you should get at least this one correct. Never speak to me like that again. Right? This is an imperative sentence. Right? This was easy. So if you were able to answer this, that means types of sentences based on function is clear to you. Next, quickly. Types of sentences based on structure. You have 2 minutes again to go through this and answer to me quickly. Okay, start. My brother and I went to the mall last night. Brother and I went to the mall last night. There is one simple sentence with one single thought. So this makes this sentence a simple sentence. Here, my brother and I went to the mall last night, but we didn't buy anything. If you see it carefully, this sentence has 2 clauses here. My brother and I went to the mall last night, full stop. We didn't buy anything, full stop. You can break this sentence into 2 sentences without changing anything. And there is one button between which is joining the 2 clauses, 2 independent clauses, I would say. So this is a compound sentence. Okay. Next, after getting home from work, my brother and I went to the mall last night. Right? If you see the sentence closely, there is one dependent clause and there is one independent clause. Dependent clause is after getting home from work. This sentence is a dependent. This part of the sentence is dependent clause. If I just say after getting home from work, like what? The sentence is not complete. You need to add something to complete the sentence. Right? Whereas if I say my brother and I went to the mall last night, this is a main clause, this is the independent clause. So when there is one dependent clause and one independent clause, we call it a complex sentence. Yeah? Now the next part, which is compound complex sentence, this is a mixture of compound and complex sentence. That means you will need to have 2 independent clauses and 1 dependent clause. Let's look in the next one if you can find that thing. After getting home from work, my brother and I went to the mall last night, while my sister stayed home and studied. Dependent clause, after getting home from work. Independent clause 1, my brother and I went to the mall last night. Independent clause 2, my sister stayed home and studied. These two independent clauses are joined by the word why. Clear? I hope whosoever had problems with complex sentence and compound complex, now it's all clear, now it's all good. Clear? Yes, now can I move on to active passive voice? It's very important. Again, if you got all right, please write down all right. If you got some wrong, please write down how many were wrong. Okay, now for 40 minutes, you have to look at me very, very carefully, okay? And I need to finish active passive in this time frame. Alright guys, I am super happy to see that most of you got all 5 correct and some of you got all 4 correct. Very, very well done. Who have got these correct? Alright, perfect guys. So let's quickly move on to our active and passive voice. Okay. Active voice. I told you last time, in active voice, we know who is the doer. The doer is the subject in active voice. We usually try to use active voice because active voice is more clear and it is more concise, right? And so it makes the message more clear. You know who's a doer, you know what the action has been done, and you know what are the consequences or whatever happened after that, or the action affected whom if there is an object in the sentence, right? But we use passive voice when we are focusing on the object. The object becomes the subject here. We are looking at what has happened rather than who did that. Are you getting my point here? Like in last class, I gave you example as Tom kicked the ball. Right? So in last class I told you, now if you look at your this course material, the first sentence says Rohit wrote a story on the wall. Right? So now we know Rohit is the subject here, Rohit is the doer here. He did the action, and what action did he do? He wrote a story. Where did he write the story? On the wall. Right, so there is this direct object, there is indirect object, but our focus is Rohit here, right? If you look at it on your next page, on 2.12 page, there's a passive voice example of the same sentence. A story was written on the wall by Rohit, right? So here, our focus is that somebody wrote a story. A story was written by Rohit, right? The focus changed. Our focus becomes that. Now, why do we use passive? Passive voice can be often confusing, right? And there might be a chance when you're not able to convey what you're trying to say in a clear and a concise manner, because usually passive voice sentences are long, right? Passive voice sentences are longer than active voice, right? So usually people try to avoid passive voice, but then there are certain places or there are certain situations you use passive voice. So when do you use that? In your course material, everything is so perfectly done that I want to refer that today, right? 2.11 page, you have to look at me, but I'm just telling you on 2.11 page, it is all mentioned in the situations in the places where we use passive voice. Okay, to emphasize on the action rather than the actor, I already told you. So we focus on what has happened more than who did that. To keep the subject and focus consistent throughout the passage. Okay, so we keep the focus on both consistent throughout the passage. A speaker is being discreet by not naming the person or persons responsible for any deed and action. Okay, now this is very important. So you might use this in future in your personal professional life. There are times when you don't want to name someone, and there are times when you don't even know who did that, right? You don't know who is the agent. At that time, there is no agent, right? And we don't know who did that, or maybe we don't want to name somebody, maybe a friend did something, right? And we don't want to do that, right? So we don't want to name our friend. So we use passive voice. We only tell what did happen. If I say, if I'm trying to save a baby, so I say, the water was spilled. I am not naming who did that, right? Or maybe I don't know who did that. So this is a passive voice statement when I say the water was spilled. The vase was broken, right? My bag is stolen, right? So these are all sentences of passive voice because we don't know who did that, or either we don't want to name who did that. To describe a condition in which actor is an unknown or unimportant. So we are describing a situation where actor is not important and who did is not important. Right? For example, they are installing the news every month. They are installing the computers every month. So our focus is that computers are being installed. It is unimportant to talk about who is doing it and who's responsible for this. No. Our focus is that new computers are being installed every month. Alright? Okay. To create an authoritative tone, entry into the restricted area is forbidden. Smoking is prohibited. Right? Breaking laws is not allowed. Right? So in an authoritative tone, we use passive voice. In most newspapers' headlines, as a news, action is more important than the doer. Right? If you look at the headlines, it doesn't say who did what. Mostly they are talking about this happened. Right? Am I clear? The building was damaged in the nearby area. Building was damaged. Okay? So who did it? How did it happen? That is not important. Our focus is that the building was damaged. Am I clear? Yes? Am I clear about these things? You can keep writing it, whatever it is clear. Whenever I ask you, is it clear? Please write down clear so that I know it is clear to you. It's easier for me to move on then. Otherwise, I get confused and maybe you are not right what I'm trying to teach here. So if you are understanding, please write down clear. Okay, are you guys still writing here? Yes? Okay. Alright, so now let's look at the structure. We were already doing the structure with us, right? So I will be continuing from that table only and then I will move ahead. Please look at your PPT slides that I'm going to share right now. Okay, so I think we already discussed simple present, present continuous, present perfect and simple past. Right? I will repeat myself once again so that it's easier for you guys. Right? I will be very quick. The structure of the sentence is changing from active to passive. I am writing here. In case you want to take the notes, please keep taking the notes side by side. In active voice, our sentence structure is same and it's easy. Subject plus verb plus object. Clear? Yes, subject, verb, object. This is easy. So in active voice, you can see this is the structure of a sentence. and the verb basically changes according to the tense of the sentence, right? In passive voice, you have to look at this very carefully. So I am making the table here is tense, right? And I am going to only write for passive voice. Clear? Yes? So simple present tense. Simple present, initial, simple present. So in a simple present tense, active voice was Julia eats the chocolate. Look here. Julia eats the chocolate. Subject, verb, object. Right? Now in passive voice, let's look at it. The chocolate becomes a subject here. Remember I told you last time, in active voice, when you're changing from active to passive voice, the object becomes a subject. So the chocolate will come in front first. Right? Oh, wait. Right. So, subject. Clear? Next is, because it's a simple present tense, you will be adding is, am, are, based on, depending on who is the subject here. If it was the chocolates, you would have used are here. Yes? Since there's just one chocolate, we will be using is here. Then we use the third form of the verb. Remember I told you eat, ate, eaten. So in passive voice, we only use the third form, the past participle of the verb. Right? Okay. What? And then we use object. So here object, or no, we don't call it object. We call it agent. Right? So object I was using the word object to make it easier for you. But we call it agent here. This is a new term here. Please listen to me very carefully. Agent means who did the action, who was the carrier of the action, right? So who did this action, who was the agent of this action? Julia. Am I clear? So we use the word agent here, not object here, right? So object, I was using it to make you understand in terms of the structure. Clear guys? Yes? Okay, next, present continuous. Right? Now what is the sentence structure here? Subject plus is, am, in the present continuous are, this thing is subject plus is, am, are plus verb plus ing because it's continuous. In continuous tense, we always add ing to the verb. Guys, whatever I'm saying, if you do not know, if this is the first time for you, please keep taking notes. Okay, so in present continuous or past continuous or future continuous, whatever you're using, you add ing to the verb, right? So if you look at the present continuous tense, it says Julia is eating. So you have added ing to eat here, and there is this chocolate. So the chocolate comes ahead, right? So the chocolate is here, is, am, are will remain the same, right? Now we will be adding being here. Then again the third form and then the agent. Am I clear? Subject is, am, or are, right? Then we add being here. Okay, and then we add V3 and then agent. Clear? Right? For agent, I hope you know that we add by before the agent. Remember I told you? Eaten by. So the by is very important. So you connect agent with a verb using the preposition. Preposition is by. B-Y, by. Clear? Are we clear about these two tenses? Quickly come to present perfect. In present perfect, in active voice, look at the sentence. Julia has eaten the chocolate. So this is a sentence structure in present perfect. We use subject. We use has or have depending on the number of subject. So has is for the singular and have is for the plural. With the exception that we use have also with I. I have eaten. We don't say I has eaten. So I is always a exception. Okay. So Julia has eaten. Subject plus has or have. third form of the verb. In present perfect, we anyway use the third form of the verb, right? So, third form of the verb and the object. So, in the passive voice, it becomes subject, which is the chocolate, right? We use has adjectives, whatever is there in the active voice, has, has. Right? We will use been here in the third form. Okay, been is the third form of the be. Then we add V3 again, right? And then we add by plus agent. Clear? Yes? Okay. Look at this. Please remember, V3 by an agent is common in all the passive voice. Tense rules. Subject is also same. Right? I'm just telling you how you can make it easier, how you can remember these rules. Now, is, am, are and is, am, are in simple present and present continuous remains the same again. Right? In present perfect or past perfect, we always use has, have or had. Right? Had is not here, had we use in past tense. So, has or have is used in the present tense. Okay? Now, what changes into simple present to present continuous to present perfect is this form of be. Okay? Are we clear? If you look at it, the sentence structures from active to passive, there's something that now I want to point out. You would have got confused if I would have told you in the beginning. In the passive voice, we have in these things. Subject plus form of be here. Passive voice. Unclarity. You just remember this. Right? So in present continuous, we use being here. In present perfect, we use third form of the be. Right? We use being here because it's continuous. We use the third form of the be here because it's present perfect. Am I clear? Yes? Am I clear till here? Yes. Can I move to simple past now? Simple past. In simple past, the sentence structure for the active voice is, again, Julia, active, there's a verb, are, ate here because it's a simple past, so we will use second form of the verb. Second form. Please remember this. In simple past, we use second form of the verb, which is Julia ate the chocolate. So now when we are coming to the passive voice, the chocolate was eaten by Julia. Now, was will always come here because it's simple past. Remember we use is, am, are here in the simple present. So now is, am, are will become was or were here since it is past tense. Here guys, is, am, are, was, were here. Right? And then we use again the V3 and the rest remains the same. Clear? Am I clear guys? Yes? Are you guys writing side by side whatever is clear to you? Right? Whatever doubts that you have, I will take post the 5 minutes break that we always take. I will be taking it at 10, 12, 5. Whatever doubts you have. Okay? Was, were, V3. Right? Now quickly come to past continuous. Past continuous. In past continuous, if you look at the sentence, it says, Julia was eating the chocolate. Right? In present continuous, we had is eating the chocolate. In past continuous, it becomes was eating. Because it becomes was in the past. Right? Now, what do you think we will do it in the passive voice? I'm sure you know this. Right? What did we do in present continuous? We added is, am, or are. So is, am, or are will become was here, right? Then we added being here. Being will come as it is here. And we always add V3, so we add V3. Now the sentence becomes, the chocolate was being eaten by Julia. Right? I hope this was all clear to you guys. Yes, this is getting easier. Is it getting easier for you? Right? Okay, I'm sure it is, and you will. When we are practicing the sentences, it will get much more easier for you. Okay, now we come to past perfect here. Past perfect. Now, in past perfect, it says Julia had eaten. Remember, I told you during present perfect that we already use V3 here. So it remains the same in past perfect also. So in past perfect, it says Julia had eaten the chocolate. The chocolate had been eaten by Julia. Now, how did we do had been eaten? Remember, we did has here. After subject, we added has. Now we will add had. Then we add the third form of been. So, been. Then we add third form of the verb. We3. Okay? Am I clear here? So, the chocolate had been eaten by... Guys, are we clear till here? Are you clear with the present and the past tense? Yes? Can I move on? Right, guys? Okay, future continuous, future perfect, and then there is what else, then how do we use them? Look at simple future here. Julia will eat the chocolate. The Julia will eat the chocolate. So we use will for the future tense. Will, shall. So now when we are making it a passive form, the chocolate will come in front. Will remain the will. We will add be and we will add eaten here. Am I clear? Will be added and then third form of the verb and then by Julia will be here. In future perfect, look at the sentence. Julia will have eaten the chocolate because it's a perfect form. Oh no, I missed future continuous here. In future continuous, Julia will be eating because it becomes continuous. So will be eating is a sentence structure here. In passive voice, remember we added being in present continuous and past continuous. So we will add here also. Will be there and then we add being here and then we add by Julia after V3. Guys, this looks a little confusing, but you have to always remember this. Every time when you will read about future continuous, you will always be confused with will be being, right? But remember, this is the rule. This is how we see it, right? In the passive voice. Okay? Future perfect. Julia will have eaten. Again, remember, has, have, had in present perfect, past perfect. So now in future perfect also we add have after will. And in perfect tense we always add the V3 form. Am I clear? Okay, so this remains the same again future, just that what is the difference? We add a will here to make it future tense, right? So now in passive voice what happens? Will have will remain will have as it is. Then we add third form of the be which is been. We always do that in present perfect and past perfect. Then we add V3 and then we add agent, that is by Julia. Clear, guys? I hope it was easy for you. I hope you have understood. I hope you have noted down this. Can you please note down this quickly so that we can move ahead? Note down if you want to, take 1 minute to understand what I've just explained. Please take that 1 minute to sink in. I don't want to rush you through this. Take 1 minute, go through this. Okay. Can I erase the board, please? Let me write it for future also for you. Okay. Can we come to, is future clear or am I supposed to write it here for you guys? I am assuming that it is okay, right? You can already frame it yourself the way I've just done it. Okay. Quickly, very easily, modals. Can, may, verbs. Remember I told you, right? So what happens when in active voice we have modal verb, which is Julia can eat the chocolate. In modal case, we always keep the modal verb as it is. Modal verb plus we add be after it. Be and then V3. Simple. Modal verb plus B plus V3. Clear? Are we clear here? Yes. Now please remember this and I'm going to note something for you here. Whenever you are changing the form from active to passive, now understand the structure. Now that you have gone through all the examples and now you will be able to get what is the structure of the passive voice sentences. In passive voice sentences, the structure is be, right, plus V3, right, of the base form. So subject plus be. Now is, am, are is also the form of be. So even if you're using is, am, are, you're using was, were, anything, these are all the verbs. So this is the form of be. Then we use V3 and then we use age. Get clear? Yes guys? Are we clear till here? Can you move ahead quickly? Okay, I would like to give you a sentence so that you can tell me in your query box how will we change this from active to passive. Right? Are you ready? Okay. She handed me the plate. She handed me the plate. Now, this is a simple past sentence here. Okay. I want you to try changing this into the passive voice. Can you read the sentence? The sentence is she handed me the plate. Okay. How will you change this sentence to passive voice? I want to see your response, then only I will move ahead. It's a little trick question, but I want to see how many of you can do it. Some of you have told me that the board is not clear. Is it so? For me, I think it is pretty much clear, guys. I don't know, there's some lighting issue or something. I don't know. I can see it very clearly. So please figure out what is the problem. And rest, somebody whosoever couldn't note all of this, don't worry. Then what I'll do is in my next PPT, before the beginning of my PPT, I will add a slide of that structure table, whatever I wrote on the board. So, who can tell me for she handed me the plate? Okay. Very interesting. I'm going to write the answer here. Look at this very closely. The answer is I was handed the plate by her. Yes, it was a trick question, but it was important because I want to explain something to you, something related to pronouns. So I want you to explain it, write this sentence to you. Also, when I'm explaining the sentence to you, I will be explaining you something very important here. Yes, I am explaining here. See here? I was handed. Now, if I say, she handed me the plate. Okay, what is the action here? Handed. Now, handed will change into was handed. Remember, simple past, we add was and then we use a V3 form. So, handed is a V3 form. Okay. Sorted. Yes. Now, here. Who handed the plate? Me. No. Who handed the plate here? She. Right? So she will become my agent here. Yes. Because she handed the plate. So she is the one who did the action. Now in the passive form, she will become the agent here. Right? So here, by her is she. Now, in passive voice, instead of she, we will use her. I will tell you the pronouns changes in passive voice. Right? Names don't change because how can you change the name, right? But pronoun, with the position in the sentence, the pronouns will change, right? So she becomes her here and before agent we add by here, right? Who was handed the plate? I. Oops. Oh my god, that was a good shot. So who handed the plate? I. Right? So this me becomes I here, right? Whom did you handed the plate? Me. Me will become I here, right? So, and what did you hand? Plate, right? This sentence become I was handed the plate by her. Clear, guys? Yes. Okay. A lot of you are telling me that future continuous tense is different. There is a little correction needed in the material. I will again inform the ma'am about it. So whatever I've told you, that is the correct form. Right? That needs to be changed, so you can change it there. So please don't keep telling me again and again the future continuous is wrong. Yes, there is maybe a typing error here, right? Or maybe some misprint. So whatever I told you, that is the correct form. You can just make the changes there. Clear? Yes? So please don't write it again. Now, here, I was handed the plate by. Fine. If you're still confused, don't worry. You will understand when I show you this next one. Look at the slide. Change of pronouns. So in the pronouns, I becomes me, right? Now, what is nominative case and what is objective case, right? Nominative case is that case when you are using the pronoun as a subject, right? So in nominative case, now do you see me was object here? right? And because me became subject here, so you use I here, right? So this is how it changes. Whenever you're using a pronoun as a okay, sorry. Okay, thanks. So, nominative case and objective. I'm so sorry, I did not know the slide was not visible. Right. So, nominative case and objective case. Can you see a table on your right here? Right. In nominative case means when pronoun is used in the subject form, in the subject, right? So that is I. In object, the I becomes me. Like in this sentence, me was object here, right? When we changed me to subject, it became I. Clear? So you need to know this table also. Me, I, me, we, us, you remains you. He, him, she, her, they, them, it, whom. Clear? If you look at the examples on your left, he eats the chocolate. The chocolate is eaten by him. Right? Now he becomes him here in the objective case. Is he writing the letter? Okay, sorry, is she writing the letter? Is the letter being written by her? Right? Okay. Now this is interrogative sentences, so you will understand when we do it next. Before that, I want you to look at the sentences on your board, on your screens. Quickly change these sentences from active to passive and then we will move ahead. You have to change these sentences from active to passive. Whatever I have just explained you on the table, it's just a revision of that. Okay. The Mad Hatter stole the cookies. So what will be the answer? The cookies was stolen. The cookies were stolen by the Mad Hatter. The cookies is plural here, so it is were. The cookies were stolen. Stole. The third form of the word steal is stolen, so you will use stolen here. The cookies were stolen by the Mad Hatter. The storm damaged the roof. The roof was damaged by the storm. He described the situation to me. This is similar to this. Yes, but here the subject will be the situation. The situation was described to me by him. Right? Here we don't need to change me, but we change he to him. Right? Because to me is not changed, to me is coming as it is here. I enjoy taking the children to the zoo. What will be the answer for this? The children. Now we are talking about enjoy. Right? The children enjoy being taken to the zoo. Enjoyed taking, right? So taking is the main verb here, right? So we will be adding being here because it is in the continuous tense, right? So I enjoyed being taken. Now taking will become the taken here, right? The ing has come to being here. Right? So the children enjoyed remains the same. Taking changes into being taken to the zoo. They saw him climbing over the fence. Right? So here, him, it will become a subject here. He was seen climbing over the fence by, they will become them. So here you changed him and they. Him becomes the subject. So it becomes he. He was seen. He was seen. So saw was, and third form of saw is seen. He was seen climbing over the fence. Mr. Price taught Peter to sing. Right? Peter was taught by Mr. Price to sing, or Peter was taught to sing by Mr. Price. The news surprised me. This is again very trick one. Who can tell me? Who can tell me? Now, me becomes I here. Yeah. I was surprised by the news. Somebody is cleaning the room at the moment. The room is being cleaned at the moment, right? Now here, whenever in an active voice it is mentioned somebody, it is totally up to you if you want to add on somebody in your passive or not. You can just, because we anyway don't know whom we are talking about, right? The somebody has been just used. So the person is unknown. Remember, when the person is unknown, we use passive voice. So when you are changing this to passive voice, our focus is the room is being cleaned, right? So we don't know who's doing it. We don't even want to know who's doing it. So it is your choice. Whenever you're changing to passive form, you can delete the agent also. You don't need to say the room is being cleaned at the moment by somebody. No, it doesn't make sense, right? If you know the person who's doing it, very well done. If you don't know who's doing it, it's fine. Just leave it as it is. Clear? Yes? Okay. Quickly look at this next slide, which is in case of interrogative sentences. Now, interrogative sentences, they also have their own structures. Is she cooking the food? Right? Whenever there is a question that starts from is or was, right? So, how do we change it to passive voice? Whenever a question starts from is and was, in passive voice also, is and was will remain the same, right? And the object will come after the is here. So that will become the subject in this case. Now, look here. Is the food. Now, food is what? The subject. Is the food cooking? Remember the continuous form, the present continuous. So, you will add being cooking here because is already here. So, is the food being cooked by? She will become her. Am I clear? Yes? Are you following it with me? Okay guys, let's close with this thing. There's too much of things that I've taught you in like past 40 minutes. I want you to take 5 minutes of break. Right? Come back and then we will start this with a fresh mind so that you don't get confused. Am I clear? Okay, take 5 minutes break quickly. So we'll Okay, so coming back, thank you for your queries and thank you for your overwhelming responses. So whenever you respond to whatever question that I'm asking, whether wrong or right, I appreciate your efforts. It also tells me that it also gives me an idea that yes, you are listening to me, you are with me. If you're wrong, I hope you get your clarification. I hope you get to know where you're wrong exactly. Otherwise, you know that after the class, I will be sending you the answers in your Excel sheet that is uploaded. Like whatever questions that you asked, I respond to those questions and the sheet is uploaded again on the website so that you can see what did I actually write for your answer, for your questions, right? So whatever problems that you have, you can of course write it there and I'll answer to you there. Secondly, whatever sentences that you write wrong, there are times that I do not write the correct answers thinking that it was already discussed in the class, right? Or maybe I have answered somebody in the sheet so you can look for the answer there, right? Right? Mostly I try to answer everyone, but there might be a chance that I have missed giving answer to someone. There is someone who is asking me that is the course going to be completed by us? What does that mean? Everything is being completed in these classes only, right? Am I right? Clear? If there is any problem, if you're not able to complete anything, we'll have another class for that. Don't worry. Everything will be taught here once. Of course, you need to practice at home, but we will be teaching you all the concepts and everything here. Clear? Okay, somebody asked me this question before I go on. The children enjoyed being taken to the zoo, right? So how did I change? And for this, yes, there are two objects here, the plate and me. So you can choose whom you want to focus. According to that, you can write the answer. Yes, somebody said the plate was handed to me by her. Even that is correct. Yes. So there are two objects here, direct, indirect. We have to decide whom we want to focus. Remember I told you that there is a focus in the passive voice. You want to focus any object here or something, right? So you can totally decide. You want to make the plate as main object, you can do that. So whosoever gave me the response at the plate was handed to me by her, it's correct. Am I clear? Yes. So the sentence was, the children no. So I enjoyed taking the children to the zoo. Is our marker too light? Okay. I enjoyed taking the children to zoo. Okay. Who took the children to zoo? I. Alright. Whom are we taking to zoo? The children. So now I becomes agent here. The children will become subject here, right? Now, taking is the main verb here. Enjoyed is not. Remember, please look at the sentence. It says, I enjoy taking the children to the zoo. Enjoy is not the verb here. Taking is the verb here. Right? Yes. What is enjoyed here, by the way? Is it a participle or ground? Or an adjective? Check. Taking. So taking is continuous here, in a continuous form, right? So we will change this as the present continuous here. So the children enjoyed remains the same, being taken to the zoo. Am I clear, everyone? I enjoyed taking the children to the zoo. The children enjoyed being taken to the zoo. Clear? Yes? Okay. Now, without wasting time, we have so much to cover up in this class today. Let's look at the interrogative sentences here. Is she cooking the food? Is the food being cooked by her? Please look at the tense. It is saying cooking. So we will change the cooking to being cooked. Again, V3 rule is again followed in interrogative sentences also. So whenever we are changing the active voice question to passive voice question, V3 will remain the same. By agent, that rule remains the same, right? So the question word will come in front as it is, right? the object, right, the food will become the subject here because we're talking about the food and the cooking, right? So after the question word, we add the subject, right? And then we add being cooked, and we she the end, and she will become her here. Let me explain one example to you on the board. Rest of the rules will remain the same. Am I clear? Okay. Is she cooking the food? Right? This is a sentence. Right? Question word remains the same. Then comes the subject, which is the food. Cooking will become what? Being cooked, because it's ing form. So being cooked. And who is the agent here? She. She will become by her. So now we're clear. And question mark, of course, in the end. So this is the sentence structure. Was she cooking the food? Was the food being cooked by her? Okay. The tense rule will remain the same. Like I told you, when in our active voice we have an ing form of verb, we use being and the third form. So in the questions also, this rule will remain the same. This will not change. What I am telling you here is that how will you structure a question sentence? Clear? Okay. Was she cooking the food? Was the food being cooked by her? Does she cook the food? Is the food cooked by her? Right? It's a simple present form question. Cooked. Right? Does she cook the food? Was the food? In the case of, just in the case of does and did, we use is, was. Just in the case of does, did and do. In do, we will use were. Did, was, does, is. Rest remains the same. Right? Look at the questions with has, have and had. Has she cooked the food? Has the food been cooked by her? Remember, in the has and have, in present perfect and past perfect, we used the third form of be here. We will use the same in the questions also. Has the food been cooked by her? Had cricket been played by Sachin, sorry, no kitchen. Sachin. Okay. Yeah. Can she cook the food? Can the food be cooked by her? Yes. Now, remember in the modals when I was explaining about the modals change from active to passive, I told you we use be after modal. Rule remains the same. The placing differs. Can she cook the food? Can the food be cooked by her? Right? May Sachin play cricket? May cricket be played by Sachin? Yeah. Question words. When did she cook the food? When the food was cooked by. Now again, in question words, when, why, how, these things don't change. But who changes? Who changes to by whom? Am I clear? When did she cook the food? When the food was cooked by her. Why did she punish you? Why were you punished by her? Who cooked the food? By whom was the food cooked? Clear? This was very easy, guys. This was interrogative sentences are very easy. Are we clear till here? Right? Can I move on? Yes? So this is a sentence structure here. Is, does, question, whatever you want to write here. Subject, then the structure based on the tense, right? If it is a simple present, then only cooked will come. If it is a continuous, then we write being cooked, and then we add the agent in the end. Clear? Yes, can I move on? Alright, next sentence. Imperative sentences. Now, how do we change imperative sentences to active to passive? Right? Learn your lessons. Right? Whenever we are changing from active to passive, we look at the mood of a sentence. It is an advice, it is a command, it is a request, or it is order, obligation, what is it? Right? So what we judge it first, and then we add the words in passive voice, like you are advised, you are requested, you are ordered to do this. And if it is should be added, right? Advice, learn your lessons. You are advised to learn your lessons. Command, open the door. Let the door be opened. Now, of course, you can do it. You're advised, you are requested, and you are ordered. These things you will manage, I know, right? You just need to add, you are advised to whatever this imperative sentence is as it is. You are requested to, look at this request, please make a cup of tea. So instead of please, you just use you are requested to, and rest of the sentence remains the same. But in case of let, whenever you're using let, the sentence formation is let subject be plus V3. Let the door. The door is subject here, right? Let the door be opened. Am I clear? Yes. If I say okay, clear? Are we clear till here? Yes. Can I move on? I am moving quickly because they are very easy, right? Please understand prepositional sentences. The sentence words that are with preposition, they don't change their places, right? Edward designed these houses in the 1890. These houses were designed in the 1980 by Edward. Now, the prepositional sentence in the 1890. The words that have preposition, they don't change their places. They remain the same as it is. Nothing happens to them. Only transitive verbs can be changed into passive form. Intransitive verbs do not change into passive. The sun rises in the east. You don't have a passive form for this. Right? Okay. And modals I have already explained to you. Okay, quickly let's look at this small exercise that I have. It's a mix of interrogative and imperative sentences. I will give you again 1 minute. Please solve all of this and then we discuss it. Does he help you? Okay. When I'm telling you the answers for these sentences, I think the sentence structure should be more clear to you. Okay. So please, whenever I am telling you the answers and I am also giving you the reasons of that answer, so listen very carefully. That will help you to clarify, or that will help you to understand the concept even better. Okay. Does he help you? Right. Remember I told you in case of does, we change, when we are changing to active to passive, does will become what? Is, am or are. Right? Who is the subject here? You. So with you use are, not is. Do you use is you? No. Are you. Are you helped by him? Right? Are we clear? Help. It's a simple present question. So help will become helped here. Because are is in front. So are you helped by him? He will become him because he is the agent here. Right? So the answer is, are you helped by him? Did he do this work? Now did will become what? Was. Right? So I told you only in the case of did, do and does, we change the form to is, am, are, was, were. Right? Rest in all the question words, they remain the same. Did he do this work? Right? So what will you tell me? Was this work done by him? Yes. Did, done is the third form of do. Do, did, done. Right? So, was this work done by him? Are we clear? Okay. Please come here. There is please, it's an imperative sentence with a request. So what will you say? You are requested to come here. You are requested to come here. Walk slowly. This is an advice. You give this advice to someone. So this is an advice. Right? This is not an order. This is an order. Walk slowly. No, this is an advice. You are advised to walk slowly. Nothing happens to these sentences. You just add. You are requested to. You are advised. Right? You are suggested to. Let me teach the students. I told you. Let. So now, let the students be taught by me. Here it will not change. The me will not change here because me is anyway in the objective case here. Someone has stolen my bag. My bag had been stolen. Has been stolen. Right? It has been. Because it has and stolen, which means it's present perfect. So we will change. Now, I told you when there is a someone in active voice, you don't have to mention someone in your passive statement. Can he sing the song? Very easy. Can this song be sung by him? Can this song? Can remains the same can. This song becomes a subject. Can this song? Remember we add be after modal verb. So we add be here. Third form of sing is sung. Sing, sang, sung. Right? So can this song be sung by? He will become him. Right? If there was a name, can Rohan sing the song? So you would have said, can this song be sung by Rohan? Clear? Will you teach the children? Trick question. How will you answer this? This is easy. I've already told you how you change the sentences from active to passive in future tense. What do we add after will? It's a simple future sentence. Be. So, will remain the will. The subject will be the children. Will the children. Then we add be the way we add after will. Be. Third form of teach. Taught. Teach, taught, taught. Will the children be taught by? You will remain you. Remember I told you in nominative case or subjective case you remains you. So will the children be taught by you? Who has painted this vase? Remember I told you that instead of who you use by whom. So by whom this vase has been painted. Clear? Does it seem much easier to you now? Yes? Right? Okay. So now, when I was teaching you active passive, I have explained you about so many rules. I've taught you about pronouns. I've taught you about the use of by. I've told you about the tenses rules. So, how interrogative to passive, how imperative to passive. So we have mostly covered active passive here. I will be just discussing this briefly, not in details. Passive to active. Right? Look at the second sentence. It says, reading is enjoyed by Mary. Now, from passive to active it will be much easier for you to do it if you understand active to passive. Mary is what? Object here, agent here. So Mary will become subject here, Mary. Now, is enjoyed will become just enjoyed. Right? Now reading goes back to the place of object. Now, Mary enjoyed reading. This is easy. Right? Look at the first sentence. The jar is filled with sand. If you have to make an active sentence, what will you do? You will bring sand in front. Right? So, how will you say this? Will you say, sand fills the jar? Yes? Okay. The town was destroyed by fire. Fire destroyed the town. The room will be cleaned by John every Saturday. John will clean the room every Saturday. Cheese was eaten by Sarah. Sarah ate cheese. The floor was quickly swept by the maid. The maid swept the floor quickly. The learner driver applied the brakes too hard. How will you say this? This is actually an active sentence into the passive. So this will be changed into passive form. The brakes were applied by the learner driver too hard. Are we clear till here, guys? Okay. So now we are done with, we are totally done with active and passive voice, and I hope it was clear to you. I don't understand why you guys are so interested in how many marks does this chapter cover. Do you study according to the weightage of the chapter? No, you don't study languages that way, right? And you don't even study other subjects this way. Yes, I can say that while you are revising, maybe you will give importance to the chapters who carry the more marks, right? But when you are studying for the first time, and when you are just doing for the first time in your classroom, you do not care about the marks of the chapter. That comes totally in the end once you know everything. So once you know everything, you know that active, passive and direct and indirect speech will be coming in your course. You will revise more about active, passive rules and direct and indirect speech rules. But that does not mean that you will forget about everything else. Am I clear? Yes? Okay. Is it clear to you guys? Can you quickly write in your comment section that it was clear to you? If it was, right? I need to start with direct and indirect speech. I'll give you only 30 seconds to quickly comment. Don't worry, we will be doing revision in the next classes also. I will be keep giving you some sentences that will Parth, your question is, ma'am, if I make a grammatical error, then the marks will be deducted? See, it totally depends on where you're making the mistake. If you're making a mistake in the grammar section, of course, the marks will be deducted. But no, I think there is not too much of deduction of marks. See, a had will be used in the same way has and have is being used. I am super happy to see the students who are taking initiative and efforts to send me the answers. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for listening as well. Okay. So now, next and very important topic that we are doing, the last topic of this chapter is direct and indirect speech. This is something that you practice each day. Guys, I've not got your response. Is active passive clear to you all? This should be clear to you because you will have questions based on this. Oh, thank you so much. There is so many of you who has told me the topic is clear. Winston Square. Winston, you asked me that how do we ask doubts to you after the class? Probably I think the sheet where you're sending these queries is open for a while, so you can send me after 1 o'clock till between 1-5, you can still send me the doubts quickly. Rest, or maybe in the next class you can ask me. I will be taking the next class on Wednesday, so you can ask what your problem is. And okay, so I am happy to see that most of you have got the clarity about this chapter. Okay, clear. So direct and indirect speech. Now, what is indirect and direct speech? Direct speech is the direct dialogues, or the actual words spoken by someone. The exact words that were sent, that were spoken by someone. Right? So that is the direct speech. What is indirect speech? Indirect speech is when you are telling someone else about somebody else's words, right? And you are reporting somebody else's words without quoting them exactly. Right? So, you do not tell someone exactly, so you change them into a reported speech. Am I clear? Yes, guys. So, direct speech is the exact words spoken by someone, and indirect speech is when you are quoting someone without using their words exactly. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I keep reading your queries also side by side. So if you feel that I'm looking that way, that is because I have another screen where I can see your queries. Alright. So I keep looking there also. Now, direct speech is when the exact words are spoken, and indirect speech is when you quote somebody else's words, right? So before I want you to look at this PPT. For today's PPT. Is it visible? Okay. Now, so when the actual words of the speaker are reproduced, it is called direct speech. He said, I am going to school. When the main idea of the speaker's words is reported by another person and the exact words are not quoted, it is called indirect speech or reported speech. He said that he was going to school. Okay? Yes? Now, do you understand the basic difference? Great. I want you to look at few vocabulary or words, or maybe few technical words of direct and indirect speech. One is direct, indirect, I've already told you. Reported speech is indirect speech. Reporting verb. Reporting verb is said, told, asked. The words that will be used for before your direct speech and before you start with your reported speech. Right? That is a reporting verb. Okay? This verb, don't confuse it with a verb with general verbs. Okay? So it's said, ask, inquired, tell, exclaimed, demanded. Like, you know these words. These are called reported verbs. Okay? Another is speech marks. Speech marks or quotation marks or inverted commas. These are those ones that you use before and after your direct dialogue. You know, these words, you know this, you can use it this way, you can use it this way also. Can you see the speech marks in the sentence, I am going to school? Yes, this inverted commas can be single and can be double also. Am I clear? Are you clear about these two things that we'll be using, reporting verbs and speech marks? Clear? Okay. Basic rules. Inverted commas or speech marks are used in direct speech. They are not used in indirect or reported speech. Right? Because you are not quoting someone exactly the same, word by word. So you do not use inverted commas or speech marks in the indirect speech. Question mark and exclamation mark is again not used in reported speech. Right? Because you will be changing the question and somebody's exclamatory sentence into an indirect statement. Right? The conjunction that is used before the indirect statement. So whenever you're changing from direct to indirect, you use that before you start with your indirect statement. He said that, right? He told that, he asked me that. Am I clear? Right? Next. Game of pronouns. Now, how the pronouns will change. Just the way you saw the difference of pronouns in active and passive voice, how nominative and subjective case, they're different from each other. Yes, in the same case, it's very important to know before I proceed further that how pronouns play the game and how pronouns are changed. Clear? Okay. Before even that, where all do you use direct speech and why do you use it? Do you know where do we use direct speech? Again, these things are clarified and these things are written beautifully in your course material on the page number 2.16. It says to convey the exact words of the speaker. Yes, when you are conveying the exact words. To supplement and clarify the information that is being reported. So if I'm telling you something, right, and if I quote that person also that, this person said this exactly. So that will give you more clarity of what has actually happened. Am I clear? So when I am reading out or when I'm telling you the exact word, this person said this, you will get more clarity of what has actually happened. Eyewitness accounts and news stories. So, whenever there's interrogation happening about after any crime, there's so many news that's happening these days and there's so many interrogations happening related to that news. This eyewitnesses account. So whatever the eyewitness says that, I saw this happening, that is all a direct speech. That is all written in a direct speech. That cannot be changed into indirect speech. If you see, and you know about which case I'm talking about right now. So there's so many cases, whenever the newspapers or the news channels are also showing that this is what eyewitnesses said, they always show in the quotes. They don't change it. They don't say that we are saying this. No. They say we are not saying this. This person said this exactly. Right? So they made it clarified that these are not our words. Inserting dialogues in narratives. So whenever you're writing a narrative, you know what narrative is? You must have studied narratives in your literature. Right? So whenever you're talking about a story or you are explaining some event or something, whenever you add direct speech, it makes it more interesting to read, right? Drama, for example, role plays, movie scripts, these are very interesting to read because they are in direct speech. So you know who is going to say what exactly, right? It doesn't make it boring. It makes it interesting to read. In reporting minutes of the meeting, the most significant. Now, in professionally, when you will be attending the meetings, after in between every meeting, minutes of the meeting is prepared. Who said what happened, what was discussed, what was the agenda of the meeting, what is going to be the decision, what is going to happen, your henceforth actions, and what are the steps that needs to be taken in the company. All of this, whenever you're discussing in a meeting, they are documented in the format of minutes of the meeting. There is somebody who's noting down, right? So that minutes of the meeting is again direct speech because that is not that person's words who's writing. No, the person is writing exactly who said what. Okay, so if board members are sitting together and the minutes of the meeting is prepared, the names would be mentioned who said what, right? While reporting speech, many direct quotes are included to convey the essence of the speaker's message. So, translation or maybe the reported speech, when you say, in my words, if I'm explaining my mother, half of the essence will be lost because I will be saying it in my way. She said it in her way. And whatever happened, at times the tone also changes, the emotion also changes, the mood also changes. Probably she says something to me in anger, right? But if I'm telling you in my words, maybe I am not able to exactly convey what she was trying to say, and I can't even convey the exact tone or the mood of the situation, right? So indirect speeches are used so the exact meaning. Now, indirect speech. Now, what is indirect speech? It is impossible entirely to convey the entire conversation in direct speech. At times, it is so boring and it is so exhausting to convey everything in the direct speech format. He said this, they said this, and this happened, and that happened. No. Sometimes you just want to say quickly everything what has happened in your words. So that is indirect speech. That is where you use indirect speech when there is a long conversation that is supposed to be conveyed. Okay, clarity and preciseness to the reporting. So at times when you are saying things in your words, you tend to make it more clear, right? So other person might not be listening to you with interest all the direct statements. So when you are explaining it in your words, maybe the other person can get more clarity. Also, you can see the other person, what is the mood of the other person, what is the expression of the other person, so you can explain it in a better way. Most personal and office conversations are done in reported speech. You all know this. After the class also you will say, she said that, ma'am said that. You will not quote me exactly, right? So mostly you will be telling me, if you are explaining or you're discussing with your friends or something, you will be using reported speech. The newspaper reports and everything, these are all in indirect speech. Coming on to your now pronouns. How to pronounce change. Pronouns at the first person are changed as below. Look at the example. He said, I am bored. Right? So this is the first person pronoun. I will become he. Right? Now, the tense also changes from direct to indirect. That I will be discussing in another slide. But for now, please notice this, that I has changed into he. Right? Because now this person is not saying by himself, there's someone else who's quoting him. Or somebody else is telling that. We are going to the movies. Meera said that they were going to the movies. Right? So we becomes they here. Pronouns of the second person. You are beautiful. He said to her that she was beautiful. She was beautiful. You will become she here. You must write neatly. The teacher told her pupils. The teacher advised her pupils that they must write neatly. They must. You. Because here you is for all the students. Look at here the first part, the second part of the sentence. It says the teacher told her pupils. So there are many students. So we use they here. Third person. I said they have gone out. I informed that they had gone out. Right? These will become those, they becomes they. Reporting verbs, I've already explained you, asked, inquired, commanded, ordered, requested. So it totally depends on how the sentence is said, what is the tone of the sentence. So you use reporting verbs accordingly. Am I clear? Okay, so now my favorite part, how tenses play along. Just the way it did for active and passive, we will be studying rules for direct and indirect speech. So how does the sentence or direct speech changes from simple present to simple past? If you see on the left side, I have already mentioned about the tense rule. Simple present changes to simple past. Present continuous changes to past continuous. Present perfect changes to past perfect. Clear? Yes? Okay. Before again I start this, there's something very important. Look at the reporting verb in all the sentences. It says said, right? So if the reporting verb is in the past tense, you will change the tense of the sentence, right? But if it is not said, it is says, tells, asks, the tense of the direct speech will not change. It will remain as it is because the tense is not changing overall. Right? I will explain you again that later. Coming on to this. He said he's a cricket player. Right? Look at the sentence structure. Can you see a comma after said? Yes. Can you notice inverted commas for before and after the direct speech? Yes. This is an essential part of direct speech. Am I clear? And full stop, question mark, exclamatory mark, whatever is part of the direct speech that comes before the inverted commas, not after. I have seen many students who does that. What they do is they complete a sentence, after inverted comma they put the punctuation. Full stop, question mark, exclamatory mark. No, it is wrong. It is wrong. You are supposed to include the punctuation within the quotes, within the quotation marks. Am I clear? Now, he will remain he here, right? That doesn't need to be changed. Now, we will be changing the simple present tense into a simple past. He said that he was a cricket player. Alright? Simple past. He was, becomes was here. Everything is okay. The sentence structure doesn't need to be changed. It only, the tense of the sentence changes. I said Priya is going to Pune. I said that. Please notice we are using that in indirect speech, right? I said that Priya was going to Pune. Azhar said, it is raining. Okay, in this sentence there is a slight change. In the meanwhile, you can tell me if are you understanding the topic or not. All right. Okay. So, Ria said, Rohan has been working. Okay. It's a present perfect continuous. So, this will change into past perfect continuous. Ria said that Rohan had been working. Has will become had. Rest remains the same. Present perfect to past perfect. Azhar said, my mother has arrived. Azhar said that his mother, if we are talking about his mother, so my will become his here. His mother had arrived. Am I clear? Okay. Simple past to past perfect. Simple past changes to past perfect. My mother arrived on Monday. He told me. Now, he told me will remain, he told me here. He told me that his mother had arrived on Monday. Clear? So what you need to remember here is first adding of that, right? Second, how does the tense change? How does the simple present change to simple past? Present continuous to past continuous. Present perfect to past perfect. Present perfect continuous to past perfect continuous. And simple past to past perfect. Clear? Yes? Okay. And how pronouns change? If the dialogue says my mother, it becomes his mother or her mother. Right? Okay. Past perfect remains past perfect. There is no change in the case of past perfect. Please remember this. This is an exception here. He explained the bread has gone stale. He explained that the bread had gone stale. Past perfect continuous remains past perfect continuous again. We are living in London. Okay. Sia told me they had been living in London. Future changes to present conditionals. I will finish my reports in 2 days. He said that he would finish the reports in 2 days. Okay. Now I'm giving you a sentence on the board. You are supposed to go through it and give me a response in the query box. Please take care of the punctuation when you are sending me the answers. Okay. He said, I am coming home. I am waiting for your response. Right. So, yes, most of you have sent me the response. It says, he says that he was coming home. We will not change coming to going here right now. We can use it as it is. He said that he was coming home. Right. So, I will be continuing this topic in the next class, and I will be in the initial 15 minutes, and then we will be quickly starting with our next topic, vocabulary. I will also be doing the practice session of the same topic in the next class because we are running out of the time today. And I want you to go through your course material, the PPT, and in case there is any problem, please, in the next class, in the beginning of the class, you can just send me your doubts so that I can clarify. I am not proceeding with this chapter now because, again, it's going to be 1 o'clock, but I will be finishing this in the next class, just first few minutes, this little bit that is left from this chapter. So we can quickly finish it in the next class, and then we will be starting with vocabulary, right? I can still take your doubts. I still have 4 minutes to go. So in case there is any doubts, please keep sending. Somebody is asking me that will these things will be asked in MCQ forms? It may or it may not. Both ways. Direct speech is also used in law courts. Yes, maybe in some cases. Yes. It's similar to what I told you about eyewitnesses accounts. So it's the same thing. The paper will come in multiple choice or theory type questions. It can be both. It will depend from topic to topic. The formula for changing passive to active. Okay, I'll share the table with you. I am super happy to see there are less doubts today than we used to have in the previous classes. Most of you have got what we have done today, so I don't want to rush it. Take some time and go through your active passive and your basics of direct and indirect speech so that next class is much more easier for you. No, I don't think so. There is any live test series, but yes, model test papers and revision test papers will be shared with you. How to learn vocabulary for exam. We will be discussing this when we are doing the chapter vocabulary. So yeah, we will discuss this in the next class again when we are discussing about future tense also, about the being and the be here. No, the practice sheets are not uploaded. I said that in the beginning of the class. It's much easier to discuss few questions in the beginning of the sessions. In that way, if something is not clarified to you, you can ask me right away. If you are able to answer it, then you get a better idea of your clarification. The concepts are clear to you. And you will be receiving, I think, model test papers and revision test papers also consequently. So that would be enough for your practice. You don't have to remember these topics, you just need to practice them. Okay guys, so thank you for today's class and thank you for keeping up with me. Most of you have been with me and you have maintained your pace along with mine. So thank you so much. If there is any problem still that you have, you can write it down. I think you guys still have 2-3 minutes. So you can write it down whatever you have not understood. If you have understood, please leave a line that you have understood today's class. And do not forget to fill in your feedback forms. Bye. Take care. Have a good day ahead.